Hi, I'm Diane from Spencer Ogg Sewing Patterns, and today I'd like to show you how to make an adjustable and detachable shoulder strap. It's a really useful strap. It's long enough to go across body or shoulder. They're easy to make, they're easy to use. I use it an awful lot in bag making. This is one of my bags that I've used it on, which is the turnaround bag, but as I say, it's suitable for lots and lots of bag styles. If you use beautiful chunky hardware as well, it gives your bag that added professional look at the end. So, let's make a start. Okay, so let's go right ahead and start making this. The things you're going to need are some outer fabric, which could be quilting cotton from the outside of your bag, it could be cork, it could be tweed, it could be vinyl, and some medium weight interfacing. If you are using cork or vinyl, you don't need the interfacing, but for regular quilting cottons, medium weight interfacing, I'm using a Vilene F220 medium weight. Pellon S101 would also do the same job. The things you're going to need hardware wise are a 3/4 inch adjuster buckle. We are making a 3/4 inch wide strap here. Obviously you can change the width to suit, and I'll tell you how to do that later. We're going to need 2 swivel clips to attach to the bag and some matching thread. Now we're going to make a generous length to start with. It's going to be a finished length of 47 inches. Again, you can increase or decrease the length depending on what you'd like your strap, what length you'd like your strap to be. So let's make a start. I'm going to cut a strip 50 inches long by 3 inches wide. I've actually cut a strip the same width in the interfacing, and I've gone right ahead and fused that already. So we're ready to hedge the ironing board with this. So our first task is to fold in a hem at both of the short edges, so just about 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimetre. Sorry about my noisy iron. Trouble is, the better they are, the more steamy and noisy they are. And the same again on the other short edge, just 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch. And then we're going to press the whole thing in half along its length. Oh yeah, so that now, when you open that out, you'll see a lovely, obvious crease right in the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold the side pieces in, the raw edges, to meet that centre crease. So we're going to do that all the way along. We'll start here, keeping those edges folded in so that hides our raw edges. Then turn it around and we'll do exactly the same thing on the other side with the other raw edge. And there we go, and now fold the whole thing back in half along that original crease line. So you're now concealing all your raw edges, and you're making a lovely long and secure strap. There we go, complete. So we're now ready to start sewing. So onto my trusty sewing machine. This is a Genome Atelier 7 which I'm using today. I've got a number 16 needle in there. I tend to stick with number 16 needles unless I'm using leather or vinyl, where I'll change to a leather needle or a microtex needle. 16 is quite good for heavy work and also for layers, lots of layers like in bag making. So I'm going to stitch around, all the way around our strap. And the top stitching will hold it in place and give it a really nice look. What I find easy to do is use a guide on the sewing machine. Obviously, if you're steady of hand or you've got a guide foot, by all means use it. I use any help I can. This is actually a blind hemming foot and comes with most sewing machines. And you can see that's got a little guide on it. And obviously it's for sewing hems on trousers, but I use it virtually every day as a guide. If you put this onto your machine, I've got one on the machine already, it's just a bit thicker because it's a walking foot. But you can see, if I place my fabric under there and line it up against that guide, drop the foot, and then move the needle to the right, so you're about 1/8 of an inch, 3 millimetres onto the fabric, and that'll hold it in position all the way along. I increase my stitch length to 3 for top stitching normally. It gives a better appearance if it's a long stitch. So we'll start with a lock stitch or a back stitch. I'm starting on the edge that's actually open, but it won't make much difference. And then we're going to stitch all the way around. First the long edge, one short, up the other, and then finish on the short edge. Pivot at the end, pivot again, and then straight back down the other side. Pivot around the last short edge, one more stitch across the end, and then back down to where we started. Again, finish off with a lock stitch or a back stitch. So you can see how beautifully stitched that is. It keeps it a really nice distance from the edge all the way along. So we have our beautifully made strap, and what we're going to do is we're going to add our first piece of hardware, which is going to be the adjuster buckle. This is 3/4 inch width adjuster buckle to go with my 3/4 inch strap. You can buy them with a fixed bar or an adjustable bar like this. It really doesn't make an awful lot of difference. We're going to thread the strap over the top of that bar, and it's the top of the right side. The right side of it is slightly higher than the underneath side. So we're going to push one end of the strap up through, and then back down over the bar through to the other side. And I'm just going to fold back about 1.5 inches of that behind. Where's that round? And I'm going to fix that in place by stitching 2 lines of stitching close to the edge, and then one 3/4 of an inch thereabouts just inside. You can use a box shape if you prefer, or you can even use a box with a cross in it. I do tend to like just doing 2 lines, and then I'll often use a rivet into it afterwards. So we'll take that and stitch it now. So there's our 2 lines of stitching, securing that in place. You can add a rivet if you like as well. It's quite nice to adding a bit of bling to the bag. So now we're going to add our first swivel clasp, and have your strap so the seam underneath is underneath, and keeping it that way up, thread your first swivel clasp on with the clasp facing upwards like so, and then with the free edge we're going to thread that through the adjuster buckle, so up through and then back down over the other side, pull it through. There's our first swivel clasp attached. Now for the second one, with the right side facing up again, so your adjuster buckle still on the top, pull it along, swivel clasp towards the top. I'm going to bend that raw edge back underneath, again as we did on the other side, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. I'll just clip that in place, and then we're going to stitch that down, secure it with a couple of lines of stitching again. So I've completed the other 2 lines of stitching to hold that swivel clasp on, and that's our strap finished. You can make your strap any width, any length in exactly the same method. This strap we made it a 3/4 inch wide, and to do that we just times that width by 4. So for example in this it would be 3 inches. If you want a 1 inch wide strap finished, then cut it at 4 inches wide, and of course grab adjuster buckles and swivel clasps to match that 1 inch width. Lengthwise you can change to whatever you want. This is a long strap and it's plenty long enough for a crossbody or shoulder strap. You can add a little bit of bling, as we said before, by adding in some rivets along the way. You can add them into the strap, you can add them into the carrier. All adds interest, and it all adds to that professional touch of your bag. I hope you enjoyed making our strap today and you found the tutorial easy to follow. You can find more tutorials and my bag patterns at www.spencerogg.com, and you'll find more details below the video as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can join me again in the future for more tutorials.